I was going to a high school dance, which they were holding in the cafeteria at North High, and I was going to see a girl. And I get there, and this band is playing. And these are like 14-year-old, teenagers, and I just stopped to look at them for a minute. Prince is on lead guitar, Andre Simone on bass, his sister Linda on keyboards, Will Dowdy on, and these are people, some of the names you might not know, on congas, and Terry Jackson on timbales. And they were playing Santana, Hendrix. Prince was doing these guitar solos. He was 14 years old. He was playing like he's 25. And the whole band was just incredible, unbelievable. And so I forgot all about the girl. And I'm sitting there looking at the band, and I was mesmerized. And so after that, I kind of started turning myself into a stalker, because I got to know Andre Simone. I said, I got to get to know these guys. I got to know Andre. We were in the same grade, basically, and he might have been behind me a year or two, but we started hanging out. And I just told him how great I thought the band was, and I told him I played drums, and he's like, yeah, okay. One day we're skipping school. We go over to my house. I have my drums set up. I have this really big speaker cabinet behind it that I played all my music on the turntable, so I could, and I was a big Tower of Power fan, and so I love Dave Garibaldi. So Soul Vaccination, What Is Hip. I don't even think they had gotten the Squib Cakes yet, because that ended up being one of my favorites. So I ripped a little Soul Vaccination and some What Is Hip for him. And I stopped playing, and Andre's sitting there. And his eyes are kind of stretched. He's looking at me. I was like, yeah, what's up? He said, man, I didn't know you played the drums. He said, I didn't know you could play like that. And he said, we just so happen to be having problems with our drummer, Charles Smith, who was Prince's cousin. He said, you should, bring your drums by and audition, because we're looking for a new drummer. So I took my drums by. I set them up. I played a few cuts for him, and my drums never left. And I never left, and I was in the band ever since.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, was Prince the virtuoso at that stage, or is that something that he grew into from the moment you?
I think Prince was born a virtuoso. That was the time that I met him, but when I got in the band, he was playing keyboards like nobody's business. He used to duet with his dad in church, I guess. Mm-hmm. And so, his dad brought him in. He played keyboards in church, and then he was already, like I said, he had already mastered the guitar. And so he was just incredible. And not only that, Prince was Prince. He was very strange back then, I was in the band for like 2 weeks, and he never said a word to me. He only talked arrangements. We talked about arrangements. Other than that, he would just be looking at me. And, I would be, first we started at Terry Jackson's house rehearsing in their basement. He'd be in the doorway in the dark, and I'm standing there, and I feel these eyes looking at me. And he wouldn't say. I'm like, so dude, what's up? So, eventually, and it took maybe months before he actually started talking to me directly. He kind of talked to me through other band members, Yeah, tell the drummer to. I'm like, I'm good with that, So, Prince was Prince. That's all I got to say. He didn't start acting that way as an adult. He had always been that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he was already a very accomplished instrumentalist in high school.
Yes, and at that point, when I got in the band at 14, he told me he already had 100 songs written, in his little binder. Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.